Hi, my name is Ashley, and my team is Fatima, Marisol, and Olga, and we're going to be talking about the insecurity and its effects on teenagers. Violence. What is violence? Violence is the intentional use of force or power with a predetermined end by which one or more persons produce physical, mental, or sexual injury. The key to solve urban violence or insecurity is to understand where it's coming from. So basically, one of the first issues is that authorities don't acknowledge marginated areas. This means that the police and the authorities don't really take care of the poor zones of the cities. So they just leave them there for them to like take care of themselves. And the second problem is the architecture facilitates cartels access to colonies. This means that the way that cities are built makes it more often for poor areas to be non-well constructed. And that allows the cartels to go into that zones of the cities and make their business there. So what is the importance of our research? So basically, our research is meant to help teenagers on their social development by identifying the effects that insecurity has on them. And this will benefit our community in general because teenagers are the new minds and teenagers are the ones that are going to be ruling the world. So we need them to get raised right. What is our objective? Our objective is to determine teenagers' social development in Reynosa.
Now let's go with the methodology. The methods that we used on our research. Our research was mainly a qualitative research, which meant that we didn't use any numerical data, and we mainly focused on the opinions of the population. It is non-experimental, which means that the research lacks of manipulation on the independent variables. The population were about Reynosa teenagers that were between 17 and 18 years old. The sample that we used were 20 teenagers that were from two different Reynosa high schools. The measuring device that we used was a questionnaire that was made out of 10 questions, where we mainly asked the age, the sex, how they felt about the insecurity in Reynosa, and experiences. We made this questionnaire in a Google Forms. It was a simple design, but either way, we added like a type of reddish background. Now, the data collection. The data collection that we used was mainly insecurity, the topic of insecurity, and we talk about how it was in Mexico and in Reynosa, the causes of this insecurity, how teenagers reacted to this insecurity, and how it could socially affect them in their development, and finally, how the authorities of Reynosa intervened in this situation.
Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about what were the results of our investigation, of our of our evidence. Let me see here. Basically, as it was mentioned earlier, we interviewed 20 people, mainly of 17 and 18 years old. They were teenagers mainly from three different schools. 75% were women and 50% women. Okay, so as we can see in this graphic, 85% of these people have already witnessed a violent situation in our city. That this means that basically most of the teenagers nowadays have been in probably gunship or some gun battles, right? So it's basically pretty common in normal daily life in our city. Some of the keywords people use when they were describing their situation were people, violence, and bad. We can see that the pattern in these words are basically the society, what is happening right now, and how it is affecting them. So basically, violence is key in what is happening, but let's focus more about what is mentioned about their social development. 48% of them, they say that they agree that insecurity has something that deals with their development, social development, but also that was pretty shocking for me because the 100%, all of them mentioned that after that violent topic, it was more about the schedules, their lack of opportunities, and also the amount of work they had. Also, this last part is affecting not only their social development, but also the mental health. So it's a thing we didn't saw at first. So at the end of this investigation, we could notice that after not only is the insecurity, but also the the school work and lack of opportunities. So now we can see right here the implications of our investigation. We can see that insecurity, as I mentioned earlier, is not only the factor for a bad early social development. This means that it's not the only thing that is making the teenagers not go out with their friends or have attention or be with other people. We have, for example, school. Also, we could realize that development has changed with generation. For example, our parents didn't have the same development, the same opportunities, and they didn't watch the amount of violence we have right now. Okay, so limitations. What were our limitations when we were making this surveys and when we were making this presentation, basically? The fact of which teenagers, because yes, we have the teenagers, we are teenagers, so basically it's kind of easy, but not at all, because make them say true things and make them feel comfortable telling us what they were experiences is kind of it's a kind of tricky. Also, the insecurity is pretty ironic because it's a topic of the presentation. But anyway, it was something we have to deal with because we are in a difficult situation now in the city. So we have to look forward to it and also to interpret the results because we have our hypothesis that is mentioned that violence is a factor for bad social development, but we found out that it's not at all. It's part, but it is not all of the it does not have all the guilt. So now, as we could see, future research, thanks to our investigation, can be this four points I put in this slide, that it will be mental health. That's pretty important because it's not only social development. If we don't have pretty good mental health, how can we develop and how can we relate to other people? Violence, as always, is a key point in our development. Teenagers in general, and especially stress. If we don't have a clear mind, if we don't be calm, how can we be fine? How can we develop in a good way? So yeah, let's go to the next part. That is our conclusions.
For the conclusions, based on the research we did, the effect that the insecurity has on teenagers is negative, having bad effects in the mental health of many people that face and live in this situation. And this is really a reality that we, as teenagers, live. And I think that there has to be an increase in the security of many places in the world to make the life of the teenagers worldwide better and safer.
So this is actually all of our presentation. As we can see, is basically our total results, sorry. We found out that actually violence deals with bad social development, but it has other implications, not only that. So Thank you for your attention. I hope you're having a good day, and thank you very much. See you later.